Hey everybody, this is Chris Blair with Stories Behind the Songs here at the Listening Room Cafe in Nashville, Tennessee. And today I am so excited to have a very good friend of mine, Phil Barton from Sydney, Australia. He's been in Nashville for quite some time now, but he's just got all kinds of good things. You're gonna hear the story behind A Woman Like You, song by Lee Brice, and a lot of other cool things. So Phil, great to have you here, buddy.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah. This is awesome. So we've been running around and having a good time together for many years.
For a long time.
Yeah,
For a long time.
you've been playing the listening room since we opened, pretty much in Cummins Station.
Totally.
And you're like one of the guys that plays here more than anybody, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But yeah, man. So just want to talk about kind of the success leading up to where we are now. So let's go back to your days in Australia and when you figured out that you wanted to become a songwriter and kind of walk through that.
Yeah, so it's very different than Nashville. Obviously, I studied music at a place called Lismore, and I was studying singing actually, but then realized I wasn't the greatest singer in the world. I could sing, but not like the singers that you want to sing your songs. So,
Right.
So I decided then and there I wanted to be a songwriter, and wondered how to make money doing that. And I ended up doing an independent project in children's music, and that led to a recording deal, and it led to a path of writing songs for a living and playing songs around the world, really, and brought me to Nashville and to Music Row, and man, it's a journey, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you were doing all the children's stuff, you had a group called Flower Pot Gang.
Had a group called Flower Pot Gang that we basically started at university and as fun project, and ended up sending the recordings away, and Polygram Records called to sign us, and then it kind of was like, we probably should take this thing seriously because the course is almost over, and how are we going to make money doing music? And it just it led to great opportunities, many years of fun and shows and records, and being nominated for big awards at the highest level in Australia, and selling lots of records. And
Yeah, you sold over 400,000 units.
I mean, there was a lot of albums, and after the kids band broke up, I still did children's music in a way, and I did 87 children's records.
Yeah.
So with all of the different projects I did, and there's a lot of songs, but the great thing about that was it kept, when I moved to Nashville, I could start writing, and I could just walk the streets of Music Row. I knew no one, but I could get out there to all the songwriter nights and meet people, and I started writing songs with everyone. And lucky for me, I had that support of songs back in Australia that was still making money.
Right.
That I didn't have to come and get a job. I could fund my recordings, and it was a good thing, and it kind of got me to the spot where I got my first publishing deal, and over here, and just got happening and in the scene in Nashville, which is a great thing.
So let's talk about when some of those big children's hits really started to make it. And a lot of people watching, they've heard these songs. They just don't know that you're the guy that wrote them. But like Bob the Builder, and some of these huge children's songs. What was that experience for you? Just kind of before you moved to Nashville and really understood how this business works, just kind of watching that happen.
Yeah, so we were signed to ABC, the label in Australia, which was the leading children's music brand, and so through that we got opportunities to tour with like Thomas the Train and Wiggles, and led to having songs in the Bob the Builder show. We did a whole tour with and record with a guy called Spot the Dog. He's just called Spot, but he's a massive worldwide children's property, and here's the books I grew up on, and then here I am doing records with this dog Spot.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a whole different world, but it's exciting world. And you know what's great about it is it's so hard to go and play to a room full of kids and keep their attention. It was a great learning ground for me, not only for performing to people and being able to grab people's attention, but also songs are going to be catchy.
Yeah.
The songs are going to stay in people's heads, you know, otherwise the kids are bored, you know, they're so bored. So, which I think translates to all music, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In the end, like country and pop and everything. So, I mean, it was a great learning ground for me as a songwriter, I think.
Yeah. Well, and then, you know, that led to, obviously, you started to fall in love with writing, and you made the move to Nashville.
Yeah.
So, and like you said just a little bit ago, you just started writing with everybody that you could, and you guys don't understand, like, this guy is the hardest working writer I've ever seen in Nashville, for real. Like, we've written together. I've had the honor to write with you, and you know, I know that was just a fluke, or you being really nice to let me come sit in the room. But
well, you called me with an amazing idea, and I mean, dude, the honor was mine.
Well, thanks.
I mean, I just like, you never know where a great song's going to come from,
right?
I mean, you got to show up and write a song.
Well, and that was the point, is that you always make time, and you know, I mean, I know you've had days where you'll write 2 or 3 songs,
yeah,
and then you'll come play the listening room or another venue, and sometimes a couple shows.
yeah,
And you know, you're the guy that, you know, anytime we call you, you play, and I mean, you're always out there just rocking it. So.
yeah, and people ask why I play so much, but you know what? I love it. There's something about being on stage is the most relaxing feeling I get, I think.
Yeah.
And just, you know, there's no real pressure because I'm not an artist. I can just get up and play my songs, and atmospheres like the listening room is a place where people want to be entertained and enjoy music. So it's a good place to play.
Yeah.
Because you've already got an audience that want to absorb what you're doing. So I love it, man. So I mean, to me, it's like, you know, I might be tired, as you know, from writing 2 or 3 songs, but then coming to the listening room, it's like, it's just a great place to, you know.
Well, obviously, the hard work has paid off. I came across a quote, and I want to read this. Because I think a lot of people that are watching this, hopefully, are the ones who are inspired to become the next Phil Barton. You know, like, they're either writers that are just starting out, or they're maybe kids that have that dream of one day becoming a writer, or you know, whatever. So I think, you know, I read this. You can create luck by working extremely hard and creating opportunities for yourself. There are ways to make money out of songwriting. You just have to think outside the box. For example, I've concentrated on writing with lots of Canadians, and from that, I have had 3 top 10 up in Canada this year.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to say, like, how you especially just you work your tail off, and it's paid off.
Yeah, I mean, somehow you got to survive, right? And I mean, there's a lot of ways to write songs. I guess for me, coming from an international perspective, like, I know there's a lot of people making money writing songs in Australia. There's money being made in India. There's
Right.
money all over the world. And I think, you know, in Nashville, some people aren't totally aware of that you can think of other areas and make some good cash, you know? So
all of that hard work led you to writing some really good songs, and I'm going to get to that in just a second because it is stories behind the song. So we're going to play a song in just a little bit. But I kind of kept this going a little bit and talking about how hard you work because I wanted to make a point. Yeah. We just celebrated your 300th show. Woo! Here at the listening room. And
I think people were confused. Like, is this his 300th show? It was my 300th show.
Yeah.
At the listening room.
So there is, you know, there's been times where you're playing at least a show every week. Yeah. There was a time where, you know, a few months ago where, you know, I caught you in the green room after the show and you were wearing a different outfit, and I was like, weren't you just wearing something different on stage? And you were like, yeah, I'm playing the next show too. And you played 2 shows in one night. And
yeah, I've done that many times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyway, we appreciate it. And so I wanted to do something for your 300th show. Oh, so I've got
awesome.
I've got a plaque for you.
Woo! Love it, dude. Oh, dude, thanks, man.
Absolutely.
It means a lot. Man, I love playing down here. I mean, it's just one of the highlights of my week or whatever. It's such a great room.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
You've set up such a great place, and ever since we've been downtown too, it's like
I'll set it over here.
It's I mean the crowds are so great down here, aren't they? Like,
yeah. I mean, they're here to listen, so it's great.
And they really get it.
Yeah.
They get what you tried to create, and it's working, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
All right, so let's go to April of 2012.
Yep.
And I believe the time of 8:03 p.m. was something pretty significant to you.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, it starts from when you're young, and I don't know what gets a person dreaming about a dream, but for me, it was a band in excess, and me sitting in my little bedroom in Melbourne, Australia, listening to the radio on my ghetto blaster, listening to In Excess get into the American Top 40. That fueled everything. I listened, Need You Tonight was the song, and it got to number 1 in America, and I just couldn't believe it. An Australian could get to the top of the charts in America, the pinnacle. And so that's, from that moment, it was pretty much all I ever thought about was getting a number 1 song in America. So the journey of that many years later, and the fuel of that, man, to be up in my office, the reality of when the Lee Bryce song came out, you knew you had a good song. I wrote it with guy Johnny Bulford and John Stone, and Lee recorded the song, and John always had a lot of confidence the song would go all the way to number 1. Johnny not so much, because we'd never had a song on the radio before, so in America, and so we watched that song week by week go up, and it really didn't feel real till it was probably number 2, and then the realization that I'd looked at Billboard magazine every week of my life almost to see what was number 1, and then so to be sitting in my office, for me it was a huge moment at 8:03, just refreshing the browser and seeing the update of the Billboard site and seeing Woman Like You slot into that position. It was pretty cool. Cool. I mean, you think about everything, and a day like that, you get phone calls from everyone out of the blue. It's just special. I mean, it's really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an awesome moment. I want to talk about the day that you guys wrote that and just kind of the story behind it. But before we do that, can we play it?
Yeah, of course. This woman like you, man. Last night, out of the blue, drifting out to the evening news. She said, honey, what would you do if you'd have never met me? I just laughed, said, I don't know. I could take a couple guesses, though. So I tried to dig real deep. Said, darling, honestly, come on. I do a lot more offshore fishing. Probably eat for a drive to chicken. I take the strokes off my golf game. If I'd have never known your name, still be driving that old green over. Probably never would have heard of yoga. I'd be a better football fan. But if I was a single man, alone and out there on the loose, I'd be looking for a woman like you. Woo! Well, I could tell I got her attention. And I said, baby, I forgot to mention, I wouldn't trade a single day for 100 years the other way. She just smiled and rolled her eyes, 'cause she's heard all of my lines. I say, come on, girl, seriously. If I hadn't been so lucky, I'd be shooting pool in my bachelor pad, playing me some cover band, restocking that cold Bud Light for poker every Tuesday night. I'd have a dirt bike in the shed, and I would throw a pillow on the bed, keep my cash in a coffee can. But if I was a single man, alone and out there on the loose, I'd be looking for a woman like you. Oh yeah. She knows what a mess I'd be if I didn't ever keep. But to be sure, baby, I whispered in her ear, you know I get sick deep sea fishing, and you make the best
Fried chicken!
I've had a whole bunch cooking. I love the sound of your neck. Oh, I miss that old green over, but I love watching you do yoga. Take the score band on my hand over being a single man. 'Cause honestly, I don't know what I'd do if I never met a woman like you. Yeah. Woman like you.
Yeah. Man, what an incredible song.
I mean, I feel like you were part of the journey too. I mean, you heard it before
Yeah.
it was even rocking.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I remember, I remember the day or the day after you and Bulford and John Stone all got together and wrote it. And it was one of those songs that you guys were really excited about.
Yeah.
But no one knew where that journey was going to take. So
Yeah. And it happened really fast.
it did, yeah. And it was Lee's number one as well. So
It was his
it was-
first number one.
Yeah.
Because he'd had a few songs go really well, and finally he got that number one that he deserved. Because Lee's one of the best singers
He is.
you'll
He's
ever hear.
incredible.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Just super honored. I mean, I was always a fan. Just, you know, I knew him around town, and he was always nice to me. He'd come out and stayed at my place in Australia. And I just was a big fan, but I could never get to write with him. And then when he sang the song, it was just you know, just so great,
Yeah.
so great.
And I think a lot of times, you know, that's one of the things that a lot of listeners to music that don't understand the songwriting, a lot of times they don't understand that the songs that they know and love on the radio, that the guys that are singing it
Yeah,
didn't write it.
yeah,
And many times they did, you know, especially in today's country, there's so many people who are great writers as artists.
yeah,
But, you know, a lot of that time that, that I get to hear songs like that in their inception of, we just wrote this and it's written from the heart and for a reason that's specific to you guys,
yeah.
then it gets performed by somebody else. Sometimes that passion, that heart doesn't always come through.
That's true.
You know, you hear a writer sing it and you're like, wow, and it's a totally different meaning to you other than hearing it on the radio. If that person loves the
Yeah.
song and wants to cut it but doesn't connect to it.
That's so true.
And I think that's one of the things with Lee is that he is a phenomenal artist and
Yeah.
he connected with that song like he does all of his songs and
Yeah.
really did it just so much justice. So
I feel like Lee, like, he takes ownership of the song. He, like, as soon as he heard that song, it was like his song, and he breathed life into it.
Yeah.
It was like it was his baby, you know. It was like he made that song amazing. So
yeah.
and he fought for it like no one else did, and you know, thanks to him. No, I mean, and the great story behind that song too is, you know, he heard the song the night we wrote it. John took it past his place, and you know, John didn't know what was happening with Lee's record, but he was like, man, I wrote this song today that I think's amazing. I don't know where you're at with your record, but or if it's even on the radar, but let me play it to you. And I woke up the next day and there was a recording of Lee. They must have, you know, after they grilled out, like done a little Pro Tools recording of Lee singing it. And from that, I mean, it was in the email, you know, sent to me and Johnny Bulford, and John was like, man, he loves the song. And within 2 days, he, you know, took that little Pro Tools into Curb Record and was very confident he wanted it to be his first single, and they recorded it pretty much the day after. And I you know, I wasn't there, but I hear that he just came in and sang it. He just sang it one time, and I think they fixed 2 lines, but it, you know, his vocal took 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Something amazing.
It's incredible.
And then he was just thought he was warming up, and then he was like, okay, do you want me to sing it? But John was there, and he was like, no, that's it. They fixed a few things, and it was 6 minutes, and that's what went to the radio. And John ended up producing the record out of nowhere, you know, and it's awesome. John's a great guy, and it all worked out. The whole thing was a amazing thing because we weren't supposed to all write together that day. Johnny Bulford had booked me, and then he booked John, and he double booked, and we both turned up to the right, and
it's magic,
who you
man.
writing with, and, you know. And,
I tell you, one of the biggest thrills that I have through the listening room is being able to watch the journey from guys like you. And, you know, back when you were riding around town in a broke down scooter.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if it was snowing outside or raining outside. I mean, you were riding a scooter.
Yeah.
And
was that because we went to Key West, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
That's what we do down there. We have we get scooters and run around all day.
I took it too far, and I had never had a winter here yet. In Australia, probably the coldest it gets in winter in Sydney or Melbourne is probably like 40 degrees, 45. So I'd never experienced a cold I was like, how cold can winter really get?
Yeah, yeah.
So I brought this scooter as my foreman. And it was also because we drive on the other side of the road back there that I just was like, this seems against second nature. This scooter thing might be the
Better
way
to
to
have
go.
something small than something big.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why I got the scooter, and then I loved it.
Well, I mean, it was awesome to watch you go through that journey, and then be able to have the honor of standing out in the crowd and watching three good friends of mine, you, John Stone, and Johnny Bulford, up on a stage getting your awards for #1 hit, and I mean, it was incredible. So
Crazy, man.
yeah,
And the thing was for me too was I didn't really hear it on the radio because I was on the scooter. So to me, it still felt like the demo and all this stuff was happening where it went #1 and we were getting nominated for award shows and for song of the year at the ACMs and all this stuff. And it was to me, it always is just the little recording I got
yeah,
the next morning from John, just of him and Lee doing a little Pro Tools thing. That's how the song always is to me. So it's like, it's strange that, it went on to sell. I think it's almost sold 2 million copies and all that stuff. It's just like crazy. And it's even crazy but I guess that's with anything, like when you up there playing a song and people know your words, the words to your songs, it's always a strange feeling. But
yeah, it's awesome.
But very cool.
So obviously, that's a pivotal moment in your life and your career. Other than A Woman Like You, out of the thousands of songs that you've written, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. And what would you say is your favorite song that you've written or to play out?
Oh gosh, man.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Man, I think every time someone records a song is such an honor. And I've had some great artists record some of my songs here.
Yep.
I don't know. You're always excited about the next song, about the one you just wrote or whatever. I'm excited right now about a song called Skin and Bones that Eli Young band just recorded.
Yep.
Waiting for their record to come out to hear that, just think it's a special song. Wrote it with Laurie McKenna and Mike Eli, so that one probably, that's one of my favorites to play out. But I'm proud of where I came from with the children's music, and last year I had that song with Bobby Bones, the Raging Idiots, and I love playing that song out because people just get shocked when you play a kid's song out. And
that was just like a week ago that Bobby was here and jumped up on stage and played it with you. That was really
so
cool. Yeah.
I think because he'd always got a lot of tweets and just like people contacting him about when I play here or when I play it out and when I grow up song.
Yeah.
So he wanted to come down and see it.
And one of my favorite children's ones, Little Stinky Monsters.
Little Monsters.
Stinky Little Monsters. Yeah. You see, anytime I'm out in the crowd, it's like you've got to point to me, and then I'm the one in the middle of the room that's like.
And now it's hard because I used to play that song and I love playing it, but now I've got the Bobby Bones song that did really well, so I can only really do one kid song.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to hear one more song and kind of the story behind, the writing of that and. Just kind of let you pick whichever one you want to do. So.
I mean, should I do Stinky Little Monsters?
Oh, whatever you want, man.
I mean, it's our classic song, man. I love it, man.
Let's do it.
Basically, I was writing a children's record about monsters. How many songs can you write about the big, scary kind of thing? So this was another way to look at monsters. I had to write 25 songs about monsters for this kids record. So anyway, this was a song called Stinky Little Monsters. Well, I know that he looks real cute, crawling around in that little jumpsuit. But don't be fooled how he appears. There's something that even my mom fears, 'cause he don't go to the toilet yet by himself, no. He don't go to the toilet yet without some help. And when he goes, we all know, 'cause we smell it in the air. My brother makes his own little stinky little monsters. Woo!
Yes.
Well, how could someone who's so small have this effect on your nostrils? How could someone under 1 year old have you running for the door? Yeah, but he don't go to the toilet yet by himself, no. He don't go to the toilet yet without some help. And when he goes, we all know, 'cause we smell it in the air. My brother makes his own little stinky little monsters. Smells so bad, boy. And poor mom has to clean it up, and she always says yuck. 'Cause he don't go to the toilet yet by himself, no. He don't go to the toilet yet without some help. And when he goes, we all know, 'cause we smell it in the air. My brother makes his own little stinky little monsters. Woo! Stinky little monsters.
Yes. Oh, I love it, man.
I know it's strange to do that song, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's just one of those songs that you gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Gotta love it, man. I've played that many times.
Yeah. Well, man, it's been an honor having you on Stories Behind the Songs, and we'll definitely have you back.
I'd love to be back.
Yeah, there's so much. I've known you for so many years. It was like when I was thinking about today, there's just so much that I want to dig into that people need to know about you, and we just don't have time to talk about everything. But let's just some fun facts about Phil. When did you start playing guitar?
Probably 12 years old, and my dad forced me to play, and I was learning other people's songs, and then I was like, straight away I just was like, man, can I do this? And just became obsessed with melodies, wrote melodies. So that's.
How old were you when you wrote your first song?
Probably 13. Love song, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love song at 13. I love it. That was my first song too, yeah. It was horrible. What's the coolest place that you've ever played? You've been all over the world, so there's got to be some really awesome spots. There's
a big outdoor thing in Melbourne that's amazing called the Mine Music Bowl. That was always one of my favorites. I mean, some of the rounds we did in Key West on the beautiful horizon.
That's right. We did one together. Yeah, a couple together.
That
Yeah.
beach one. I mean,
you can't get much better than that. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great question. There's some great, and I played a show this year in LA with me and Liz Rose. We did a song with these kids in the middle of a show with James Taylor and Jeff Beck and Vince Gill and Chris Stapleton and Casey Musgraves. It was a pretty amazing show to be a part of. So
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to put links to all of your social media and ways for people to get in touch with you. Awesome. And again, it's been awesome having you.
It's always good to see you, brother.
Here's to another 300 shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're already started on the way.
Absolutely. Yep. This is Chris Blair with Stories Behind the Songs here with Phil Barton. It's been great. Stay tuned next week. We'll have another great guest on. And as always, thanks for watching.